I am Deacon Larry, and this is Renewed. Hello, it's Deacon Larry from St. Teresa's. Welcome to this episode of Renewed. You know, when I was growing up, I played on a Little League baseball team. And one of the things that I noticed about the team after a while was I was the only Catholic on the team. I thought we were the odd guys. And it turns out growing up in the 1960s, growing up in the 1970s, one of the things that we often distinguish from one another is we talk about Catholics and, excuse the expression, but we use the word Protestants. Church has come a long way, and part of that blessing is the teachings of the Second Vatican Council and the call to Ecumenism. Ecumenism is a big word, but it's really quite simple. It means being at home together, sharing one household. Jesus, in the 17th chapter of John's Gospel, says to us, 3 times he says to us, that they all may be one. He expresses on this night before he dies his desire that God's people be one. Even earlier in John's Gospel, in the 10th chapter, he talks about the sheep that are of his fold. And he says, there are other sheep in my fold, and there should be one fold and one Lord. The desire as the church is that we all be one. We know that in history, over the time, the church was broken up and divided in many sad and awful conflicts, divided into different denominations. We certainly have the Catholic Church, and we know our friends who are Lutheran, Episcopalian, if they're not in the United States, our Anglican friends, our Methodist friends, our Presbyterian friends. Today we recognize those not as Protestants, but as our brothers and sisters in love, members of one house. What we look forward to as a church is a day when we truly all recognize that we indeed are one. The church isn't saying to us to give up our core Catholic beliefs or to doubt what we believe. What they're saying for us is to listen to what Jesus calls us to, that wherever there is division, there is sadness, and wherever there is unity, there is God's joy. So as we meet and reflect, sometimes it's our spouses who are not Catholic. We should look at them as something other, something less. We should look at each as loved by God and desire to be members of one house. The church says this is so important that every Catholic should have an ecumenical spirit. In fact, one of the reasons why the Second Vatican Council was called was to promote ecumenism, the desire for us, day in and day out, to recognize we do share one Lord, one faith, one baptism. St. Paul said that to us so many years ago, and it simply is the recipe of ecumenism. Thank you for being with us today.
Please like, subscribe, or comment below.